because it got really sharp, that pain, right? It just really hits me. And I'm like, and my legs are shaking and I can't take it. Hey you guys, it's your girl Caretakers and we are back with another video. But before we get into this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You guys, you're in episode 3. Like, oh, what? But if you're new here, thank you so much. You can be anywhere you choose to be here with me, and I don't take it for granted. And if you're not new here and you're my regular subby, hey, how you doing? I love y'all being here, okay? I love this for us. So grab your water, okay? I need some water. This is the first one I've had today. I'm like, girl, come on. Big cheers. And let's dive straight into it. First of all, I want to thank you guys so much because I'm over here just amazed. I'm like, girl, you have been doing the dang thing. I've been staying on top of it. I've been trying to be consistent. So we are on episode 3. Not only am I trying to be consistent, you guys, but thank you so much for accepting my vulnerability, accepting me being authentically who I am, because I started out this year saying, like, no matter what, I'm going to be authentically me. I'm going to be as vulnerable as I can be, and yeah, pray through everything, right? I don't want to just come here and talk for the sake of talking or throwing up a video for the sake of that. So when I do these videos, you guys know that it's coming from my heart, know that it's coming from, you know, past experiences, people who I know, their stories that I'm allowed to share. And yeah, so I just want to thank you guys once again for watching my videos, for subscribing. I see all the love, for engaging with me. You don't know how much it lights my world when I post my videos and I immediately see someone saying thank you so much for sharing, or Couture, you're amazing, just any words at all, right? Or I love this video, or you guys end up sharing your story. Like, it means so much. It lets me know that what I'm doing is really worth it. And at the end of the day, all glory to God, right? Because I don't want to just be on this world, on this planet, doing anything for myself. I think anything that I should do, we should do, should glorify his name. So I'm coming on here and I'm sharing my experiences because God has brought me through. God keeps bringing me through, and God is going to bring me through. And I am praying the same thing for you guys. I pray for everyone every day, right? Because I know it's the prayers that I have seen, I have heard, I haven't heard, that has brought me this far. So let's get into this 3rd episode, Sickle Cell Be Like, and it's gonna be titled Sickle Cell Be Like, we going to the ER. Whoa, okay? So when I was like, oh my God, what do I talk about? Lord, help me. I was on Instagram, and I have a few warriors, as we call ourselves, who are kind of going through a tough episode right now as far as like being in the emergency room and the battle with that. And it really breaks my heart because, you know, I'm empathetic to it. I've been in their shoes, and it's really hard, not just on the people who have sickle cell, but can you imagine the caretakers? And it really hit home to me. So I'm not only going to be talking about just people who have sickle cell today, warriors, I'm also going to be talking about the caregivers, because I really feel like the caregivers, they don't get enough love. No one talks about the caregivers, right? So it's gonna be Sickle Cell Be Like, we're going to the ER, but I gotta take my caregiver. So let's get straight into it. We all know what sickle cell is. If you don't know, I have so many videos talking about it, but it's when my blood cells are a half crescent moon. They get stuck together, presenting a crisis. As you can imagine, blood flows everywhere, so I can get into a crisis anywhere. With that being said, a lot of us get our crises different places. I tend to get it in my lower back and my legs. When I was younger, I used to get it in my arms and my legs. They would get swollen, but like I said, now it's usually just my legs, to be honest, and every once in a while my back. There's different types. There's SA, there's SC. So that's kind of just a rundown. When you're watching these videos, just do your own research about anything that you're unsure of, or if you want to talk to me further about it, you guys know that you can email me, you can DM me. I leave everything down below, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. So yeah, don't feel like, oh my God, I'm lost, I don't know what she's talking about. You can always watch my older videos to kind of catch up on things you don't know about, or just hit me up. So with that being said, you guys, when we get sick, we, a collective, I'm going to talk about that. It's talking about people who have sickle cell, right? Warriors, a crisis. A lot of times we try to take care of it at home. We try to drink our water, okay, stay hydrated. We try to take medicines that help us. we try to do a lot of things. Everyone has their own routine, right? Some people like to use heating pads. Some people like to soak in an Epsom salt bath, drink tea, whatever works for that person. A lot of people like to do the Bob Marley thing, whatever works, right? We kind of try to do that to comfort ourselves, because really we don't want to go to the ER. That is the last thing that's on our mind. And a lot of people are like, well, why? You know, a place that could help you, why don't you want to go? Because we don't want to have to fight a battle. Because we're already sick and we don't want to have to fight a battle. Because 9 times out of 10, that is exactly what happens. You're probably asking yourself, well, why are you fighting a battle? Sit back, grab your comforter or your cover, and I'm going to tell you why and what not only people who have sickle cell go through, but the caretakers. So imagine being in pain. We already know that the healthcare is a crappy system, just like the justice system. And we know that whether you have sickle cell, back pain, if you got a gunshot, whatever it is, you are destined to wait 9 times out of 10. Like, I have to pray. Me and my parents, my family, my mom would do this thing where, you know, I would have to go to the ER, you know, she'd be like, Katura, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, I can't take the pain anymore. I would hold out, you guys, till I couldn't hold out no more. But there was just, you know, a time, this sickle cell pain is so harsh where it's like, I tap out, I give up, I need help, I need meds, I need my IV, I need help, you know what I mean? So you give up, you wave that white flag. But what come with that flushed over me a lot of worry, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, is the ER room going to be full? Are the doctors and nurses going to be nice? Are they going to be understanding? Are they going to go over my care plan? How long is it going to take for me to even get any relief, right? These are everything that's running through my mind while I'm in pain. And I'm talking about horrible, excruciating pain. Now, a lot of people don't know what sickle cell pain feels like, so they cannot be empathetic to what they don't know. So let me break it down for you, what sickle cell pain feels like. I did a video a long time ago, and I think I'm going to do it again, where I told people to put their, fill up a bucket with ice cold water with ice in it, put your hands in for as long as you can. That is pretty much what I would equivalent sickle cell to feeling like, on top of getting chased with a stabbing feeling, right? You feel like you're getting stabbed. You feel like it's to the point where you feel like you don't want your legs, you don't want your arms. And it's not that you're ungrateful, but the pain is so excruciating that you're just like, cut my frigging limbs off. That's a horrible pain, okay? There's times where I remember screaming to the top of my lungs, crying, because I couldn't take the pain anymore. It is literally driving me insane. It's driving me mad. That's sickle cell for you guys, okay? I had to like really, you know, give it to you. I want you to feel it. I want it to hit home, because this is how serious it is. Because I feel like people who have sickle cell, they are not taking seriously, because it is an invisible illness. And I see it across the board where a lot of people who have sickle cell, especially in the month of September, this is when we come out of the woodworks, right? A lot of us, we advocate 24/7, 7/24, right? Throughout the whole year. But September is when everyone really just comes out and pours together, right? It's almost like for cancer, when they really come together for the walk and everybody's wearing pink and you see pink all over the store. Well, this is our time where we kind of like, we have a voice together, we band together, and everybody's doing their part. So a lot of times you'll see on a timeline of someone telling their past stories about what their experience has been like, or their present story. And a lot of times I'm seeing present stories and I'm like, this is still going on. It's such a shame. And then I get hit with going to the hospital because, you know, thank God, knock on wood, I can go quite a long time without going to the hospital. I'm talking 2 years or more. And when I finally do go to the hospital, I'm just like, holy crap, nothing has changed. Here I go again. So backpedaling, right, to what the experience is like, bringing you through that. So you're in pain and you've decided, okay, I've tried to do medicine at home. I tried the heating pad. I tried to drink as much water as I can stomach. This pain is stubborn. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, you guys take me to the emergency room. So this is for someone who has a family, right? We're going to talk about people who have a family and people who don't. Mom, dad, whoever the caretaker is, I gotta go. They're rushing you to the hospital. Okay, they're driving, looking back. You okay? You okay? They're hearing you moaning, groaning, and there's really nothing they can do besides get you to the hospital as fast as they can. If they're a parent, 9 times out of 10, they're holding back tears. I know my mom used to. My mom was very stoic, but I could see where she would be sad, right? Like even as young as I was, I understand that there was a certain sadness because my mom couldn't take away a pain that she wanted to. Any parent would, right? You see your child in pain, whether they hit their head, you're like, oh my gosh, come here, mommy loves you, so sorry, right? And now that I'm a mother, I'm more understanding than I ever was. So yeah, your parents rushing you, you go in the emergency room, it's packed. You're like, holy crap. So you're like, hey, my child has pain, sickle cell. They're like, okay, sickle cell. They write it down. All right, it's going to be a wait. How long is the wait going to be? Everybody's waiting for about 4 or so hours, right? They try to not tell you the real truth, and they kind of fluff it up, right? People have been waiting for 9 hours, but they're going to tell you 4. Yeah, 4 hours. Okay, sit down. We'll call you back as soon as we can. We'll probably try to get her some Tylenol. That's my story. That's a lot of our stories, right? So you're sitting down and you see that little sign that says, if you have chest pains, you'll be taken more seriously. Ding, 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 ding. That little light bulb's come on. So you're in pain, you're moaning and groaning. Your mom's probably rubbing your back, soothing you, playing with your hair. That's what my mom used to do. Playing with my hair works like a charm. If you play with my hair and you rub my back, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be, I do this thing, right? When I'm in pain, I always go back and forth, back and forth. That's my coping mechanism. I do it till this day. If I'm in pain, you're going to see me rub back and forth, back and forth. That's me just kind of soothing myself, taking care of it. My mom will probably rub my back and rub my hair. I'm closing my eyes because I'm literally picturing everything that I went through. It's so crazy. And at this time, I'm moaning, I'm complaining, I'm like, I'm holding in the pain. I want to cry, but I don't really want to cry and bring all that attention onto me. So I'm just holding it in as the pain gets worse. And maybe I'll go because it got really sharp, that pain, right? It just really hits me. And I'm like, and my legs are shaking and I can't take it, and I'm going back and forth and back and forth, and I'm almost aggravated at myself. I'm like, I should have stayed home. Why am I going through this? I hate sickle cell. Why do I have to go through this? Why is everybody here right now? Why can't they see that I'm in pain? Is what a lot of us are going through at this moment, right? So your caretaker is so annoyed. They're aggravated. They go back up. Can anybody help? How much longer? We've been here for about 2 hours now. Somebody had a broken wrist. They don't even look like they're in pain. They've gone before my child. Are you kidding me? We need help. So finally they listen to the pleas after you've gone up maybe 5 times. And they're like, Katura Woodley, please come to the back. And you think that you're going to get IV fluids. And no, it is just a run-of-the-mill test. We're going to take your blood pressure. We're going to make sure you don't have a temperature. And they ask you a plethora of questions. How long have you been sick? How long have you had sickle cell? How do you feel right now? When did you realize you were suffering from the pain? Okay, thank you. We'll call you back. And they send you back out again. And you're like, wait, before you send me out, is there anything that you can give me? I cannot go back out there and take this pain anymore. And a lot of us don't say anything at all, and we just go back and we just sit down and wait for another, what it seems like 5 hours, but it's really only an hour. And finally, your mom or your caretaker can't take anymore. They're like, you have got to do something. She has a care plan. What is a care plan, you're asking? A care plan is what you and your doctor have come up with, right? Your routine hematology visits, they know you like no other. They've had your records since you've been in the hospital from yay high. And they know that you need IV. And they know that you need either morphine or oxycodone or Dilaudid, whatever works for you, whatever you're not allergic to. They need to give that to you right away. Because the objective is when you have sickle cell pain, we need to flush those cells with water. But we also need to control that pain with pain meds. That's a care plan. That's something that as soon as you walk through the door and you say you have sickle cell, they should automatically do, but they don't because the care system is corrupted. So they finally call you back and there's still no rooms available, and that's the worst news that you can hear, but we can give you fluids. And you can take these Tylenols. Tylenol, you're looking at them, what? I could have took this at home. And many of us have said they're already taking Tylenol or whatever type of pain relief we could to get us over that hump of the weight that we knew we would endure, right? So we take what we can take, and they finally call you to a room, and maybe some nurse has compassion and they'll give you the medication that you need, and they'll actually go with your care plan after your caregiver has been out there talking to them for hours that you don't even know about, right? Because that was my mom. My mom would a lot of times advocate for me, right? This is ridiculous. She has been sitting here for so long, and she'd throw out these big names that I had no idea about, right? My mom was really good at throwing out names and cards. My mom had worked in the medical field, so she already knew what it took, what words to throw that would get them running. And I admired that so much about her, that she would never just sit back and watch the time. And I always asked myself, well, what about the people who didn't have caretakers? And now we'll get to the caretakers and then we'll go back to the story, because remember we left off with me finally being able to get a room, right? That's the best thing ever. Sorry, you guys. So now the thought comes to me about people who don't have a caretaker. And I remember growing up in New York, and there was this other girl. She was a little bit older than myself. I forgot her name, but she would always be in the hospital by herself, and my mom would bring her food and stuff and just little things that she liked. And we became friends in the hospital just off of the fact that when I was there, she would be there, vice versa. And it always killed me because she would talk to her family, but no one would ever visit her. And I'm just like, as this young child, I'm like, I could never do this without my mom. Like, how is she doing this? And I remember her having to be an advocate for herself at such a young age, right? And I remember making that up in my mind, not really vocally, but I was like, I'm gonna be that for myself. Like, I'm gonna be okay whether my mom is here or not. Like, I kind of had made that up in my mind. It's so crazy how that worked out for me, just seeing her. It kind of like encouraged me. It gave me that boost, like, I can do this. Like, if she's doing this with no one, like, I can do this, and I need to soak up everything. Like, and I remember just looking at everything. Like, I was always very attentive in the hospital and just being alert, right? And they would always say, turn your eyes, till this day. And I'm like, nah, let me see what y'all doing. Let me see the poke. And I know I would be able to show them at a young age, like, what arm works, and this one, and try again. And okay, you're poking me more than twice, go get another nurse. You're not the right one for me. Being young, saying like, get up out of here now, okay? This the second time you done try to stick me, Becky. You can't do it. You probably ain't passed it in your medical exam. This is not your calling. Scoot. So with that being said, it goes back to me talking about Instagram and what I've been seeing lately. And a lot of times I'm seeing a lot of us alone in the hospital and going through mental trials, right? Of feeling alone and feeling annoyed and feeling tired that you have to put up this fight, and feeling tired that you're unseen, even though you're going through a devastating time right now, right? I'm in pain, I'm crying, and it's not visible to you. Or I'm in pain and I'm not crying, and that's a problem to you, right? It's a problem when we're crying, and it's a problem when we're not crying, because when we're crying, I remember being told, you're being too loud. I'm being too loud in the hospital, I'm crying, I'm in pain, make it make sense for me. But then I've also been told, well, you're not crying, you must not be in pain. Because now, at age, let's speed it up, right? I think the last time I was told that I was stoic or something, I was in my, I want to say late 20s, like 25, 26. And I mean, pain was rocking me. But one thing about me, I don't know what it is, you guys. Like, as soon as a nurse or doctor leaves, I'll cry. I'll have a breakdown. I'll cry, and as soon as they come up, wipe my tears, I'm fine. I don't know what it is. Even a lot of times, I don't know, my mom probably doesn't even know this, but a lot of times she would go down and go get lunch for us, right? Because I never liked the hospital food. We never liked it. There's like only certain meals that maybe you could get a fry or a burger, that's pretty good, but for the most part, not digging that hospital food. So my mom would always get me some food and stuff, and when she would leave, that was my opportunity to just cry, boo-hoo cry. Like, I'm talking about cry, just get it all out. And when she came, fine, like nothing ever happened. So this is probably the first time she's gonna hear it if she watched this. And I would not just cry for me, but a lot of times I would cry for my mom, because there was times where, and okay, I'll bring you guys to that. Okay, we'll come back to the hospital. We'll talk about my mom now. I'm kind of like bringing you guys during different channels, but there was a lot of times where I understood the role my mom had to take. So now we're talking about caretakers, right? And what I had to see and what I endured and what I'm so thankful for. And a lot of times my mom would be on a cot, and my mom was very humble, and she's very humble in general. Like, my mom's just so humble. It's so crazy. And a lot of times they would have the bed that it's like a little chair, and it turns into a cot. And then a lot of times they just had the chair, and they'd be like, oh, Miss Woodley, we'll get you a cot, or that she was a Woodley at the time, we'll get you a cot, and then we'll get you pillows and stuff. And mom was like, it's fine, just get me a cover and a blanket and I'm okay. I just want to make sure my daughter's good. And I would find her a lot of times sleeping like this, right? Because now I'm up. I've already slept the whole time. It's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning. I know that they're gonna come and stick me soon, so I'm up. And I would look over at my mom, and she's sleeping, because she's gonna have to tippy-toe out of here and go to work soon. And my mom did that a lot, where she would go to work, she'd call, and you okay, you good, everybody's treating you fine. And this is when I was older now, right? I'm in my teens and my 20s. You okay, you good, all right. And a lot of times, even when I was younger, you know, she would rotate, and my family members would come pick up from my mom, right? And she'd have to go to work or take care of my brother, make sure he was okay. And she would call, and just think about someone, you know, who stayed up in the hospital with you, right? A lot of times we were staying up together. I couldn't get no relief. I couldn't sleep. She's rubbing my back. She's playing with my hair. She's talking to me, taking my mind off the pain. She's getting maybe an hour to 2 hours of sleep, if she could even sleep. And then she's getting up to quickly go home, shower up, get my brother together. Because remember, I still had a brother, a younger brother at that. We're 7 years apart. Get him together, get him good for school, then go to work, whatever struggles that work give you, right? And then come back to the hospital to come take care of me all over again. And that was repetitive for about 3 days, depending on how long I had to stay at the hospital, 3 to 4 days, right? So it's like we really don't give the caretaker their flowers, right? And rightfully, I understand people, because it's like, okay, well, this is the patient that's in the hospital, but we don't think about the people who are sleeping literally on ground level on those dirty hospital floors, and they're taking in all of that, and they're sleeping with just a little blanket over them in that cold room. And they're probably not eating as good as you. Y'all are not home. Y'all not in y'all element, eating your fried chicken, your collard green, whatever you're used to at your home. You're not trading that in for hospital food. You know what I mean? They're hearing, you know, when people, the nurses have to come in and that light kind of cracks and shines, and they're like, sorry, we didn't mean to wake you up. But you know you up, and they're like, no, go back to sleep. But at the same time, can I take your temperature? Can we take your blood pressure? Oh, you also have to take 6 meds. Sorry, doctor's orders. At 4, I mean, phlebotomists come in as early as 4 a.m. to do their runs. They don't give a god dang, okay? Lights on, sit up. I mean, you can barely get the crust out your eyes, and you're like, oh, okay. You don't even know what's going on. You're like, oh, mom, I remember being so young, and they would come in. I'm like, mom, wake up. They're about to stick me, help. Like, you know, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. God dang, you ain't even about to wake my mama up. You just going straight for the blood. It's like giving a mosquito, like, help. So, you know, till you get older and you learn like you're fine, and there comes a time where you don't wake your parents up because it's routine. You end up going in and out of the hospital so long, it's routine. So I've talked about what it is to be a caregiver, what it's like to not be a caregiver and not have that support is now we're going to get to, right? So I've talked about the good side. You guys know my story. I'm very fortunate. I never take that for granted. I'm one of the ones who always had family members. I've always been surrounded by love. I've always had a village for myself, my son, my brother. Like, we're just good over here. But then my heart is always empathetic to the ones who aren't, and you have to realize that, right? Inside of your world, you always have to look outside of a window of someone else's life, someone else's world. And you have to imagine and put yourself in their shoes as much as you can. That is what it's like to be empathetic. And I think the world needs a lot of that. So when I think about people who don't have caretakers, well, imagine you're there in the hospital. We're going to go back down to the ER. And you're by yourself and you're in pain, and there's no one to rub your back. There's no one to talk to you to get your mind off it. There's no one to play with your hair. You're feeling lonely, you're feeling miserable, you're kind of going crazy in your own mind, right? There's no one there to say, hey, we've been here for 6 hours, this is crazy, come on, she has a care plan. You can barely talk because the pain has got your chest, you're short of breath. A lot of times, okay, you're back, you've been waiting for 6 hours, you've probably gotten up a couple times. Hey, my name is Katura, I've been here for about 6 hours, do you know when I'm getting back? They kind of shrug you off. It shouldn't be that long, honey. I think you're the second one. Okay, and you go sit. Then there's a lot of us who are like, hey, I've been here for 6 hours. Can you help me? I have a care plan. And they're, what's your name? Okay, honey. And there's maybe one empathetic one. All right, come on, come to the back. We got you. And they give you your IV, and you're feeling a little relief. You've got your medicine. And then the doctors quickly come in, and you have to sit up kind of, but you're kind of like loopy with the medicine. And they're like, hey, how are you doing? I'm okay. All right, what brings you in? I see you have sickle cell. What kind of pain? You're by yourself. And you're like, chest pain, back pain. How long has it been going on? About 4 hours, 6 hours. It's been getting worse, and I had to come in. Okay, cool. All right, so this is what we're going to do. And they run it off real quick. We're going to give you some IV medicine. They're going to give you Dilaudid. You're not allergic to Dilaudid, right? Okay, good. After that, we're going to see how it does, how you do. And then after that, we'll go through it. And they quickly run out. Quick. Don't even give you a chance to say anything. And then you quickly drift back off to sleep. Then they come back. Chest x-ray wakes you up. You do that. You kind of doze back off. Doctor's back in. Doing good, just want to make sure everything's okay. I know you got that medicine about 2 hours ago. How you feeling? How's that? From a scale of 1 to 10, how you feeling? And you kind of wake up and you analyze your body. I don't know, I'm still kind of feeling it like an 8. Okay, we're going to give you some more fluids and some pain medicine and see how you feel again in a couple. They do that, the nurse comes in, the nurse is like, hey, how you doing? All right, it's been about 3 hours. Do you think you're gonna need to get admitted? What's scale of 1 to 10, how are we feeling? You're still not feeling any better? Yeah, I'm gonna have to get admitted. Okay, cool. They start to do the paperwork for admission. It's gonna take a couple more hours to even get you a room. And maybe at this point you call family, or family calls you to check in, and you take care of that phone call. They finally bring you up to a room. And you feel somewhat of a relief, right? You're still going through the pain, you're still going through emotion, but you're relief because you're like, I finally have a room. You fought the good fight, right? And I kind of made it look really nice for you guys. I haven't told you what a fight is, right? So now I've talked about having a caregiver, talked about not having a caregiver. Let's talk about the warrior who has to fight, right? And this can be fighting with a caregiver. I've kind of gave you that insight where the caregiver kind of goes before you and they're listing off names and they're saying what needs to be done and they're talking about the care plan that you have and they're putting pressure on these nurses and doctors, right? Not letting up. And then I'm talking about when you have to do that, when you have to muscle up all the strength, like I'm not feeling good. Hey, I've been in here for 6 hours. I'm really needing help. I need Dilaudid. I know what I'm supposed to get. I need some fluids and I need it fast. And maybe these nurses kind of have an attitude with you because you're not crying, you're being quite stoic, and you're really sure of yourself. You've been through this merry-go-round, and you really, quite frankly, just want to get the help to get the hell back out. Because real life awaits you. You have bills to take care of, you have a work to go to, maybe you're still in college, maybe you're still in high school, maybe you have kids. Maybe you just have responsibility. His life is lifing, and you're like, I don't even really want to be here. I have to be here. Sickle cell done ruined plans for me. Let's get this over with. I'm not trying to fight y'all. Why do I have to do this all the time? You have seen me before. This is crazy. You literally can see my chart. I can't help that I need morphine. I can't help that I need oxycodone. I can't help that I need Dilaudid. Are you kidding me? Why are we going through this over and over again? Why are you continuously trying to give me Tylenol when I'm on a level 10? Why are you telling me that I look like I don't have sickle cell? As a doctor, why are you even asking me when did I first have sickle cell? What? You're not the right doctor for me if you're literally asking me that. Well, were you born with it? No, you know what? I picked it up, one day when I was going to school. Sickle cell was on the floor and I just decided to pick it up. Are you kidding me? A lot of time when doctors ask me that, I'm just like, you can't be my doctor. This isn't real. Did you even open my chart? When did I have sickle cell? Now, are we talking about when did I have my first crisis? Because that's a whole different conversation. But if you're asking me literally and they don't even blink, when did you first have sickle cell? Ugh. You know what I mean? So much that we go through. Or a nurse, you look fine. Why are you in here? What's wrong? I'm at a level 9. 9? You should be crying at 9. You don't look like you're at a 9. Okay. All right. And you hear them talking behind your back and you know that they just think that you're here for the medication. Well, no friggin' duh, Sherlock. If I could get Dilaudid at home and put myself on IV and stuff, I'm pretty sure half of us would take that pleasure. Would sit on our couch and we just wait for it to be done and do what we got to do. But the fact of real life is that I have to come in here and I have to endure with racism half the time. I have to endure with politics that I'm not even involved with. I have to deal with, a lot of us go through insurance problems. Oh, honey, God, you can't get your medicine. The insurance, we're having a hard time contacting them. What a nightmare is that, right? The insurance, well, that's another story for another day. So, everybody take a break to drink some water, especially if you got sickle cell. Okay, so I say all this to say, when you know someone who has sickle cell, you heard of someone who has a sickle cell, share this video with them and let them know that I see you. Because a lot of times they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, and they're just annoyed and they're thinking of different ways to cope with the pain before they even have to go to the ER. It's not fun going to the ER for minor things, right? That's why a lot of us take the urgent care route. Like, I ain't even trying to go to the ER just because it don't look that bad. Need a couple stitches. I think the urgent care could take care of that, right? We try to, they're going to be packed in there. I don't want to do that. We go through so many things in our mind. So imagine someone who's already in pain. You know what I mean? Like what they're thinking about. Oh my gosh, it's about 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Everybody probably off of work. Whoever was like suffering through a belly pain sickness, everybody's at the ER right now, right? They're looking at the time. when's the best time to go? Maybe I can hold out till the morning. I've had so many times where I'm like, my back is killing me. I really want to go to the hospital. I know they are packed right now. It's probably like 9 p.m. It's packed. I can tell you the time where it's going to be packed. So I'm just going to wait, and I'm going to go early in the morning, because usually in the morning it's a little bit better, honestly, right? There's times where it's better. In the morning is like the best time to go to the ER, because it's not that bad. They've pretty much gone through all the drama the whole night. 7 o'clock is probably one of the worst times in the morning that you can go, because it's shift change, right? So you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer because the nurses are coming in. The other nurses from the night, they're leaving, and they're swifting charts and writing things down, and that's just a whole nother process, like another 30 minutes to an hour, a minute extra weight on top of whatever weight you have, because the ER moves at a snail pace. I'm like, emergency room, it don't stand for emergency room. I used to say it to my mom all the time, like, good Lord, emergency room, they be giving, I mean, urgent care, things like that, they don't be with the vibes. I'm like, y'all need to change this name up. Just call everything a hospital, because y'all don't be moving with no urgency whatsoever. So I just want you guys to know that I understand where you're coming from. I've been there. There's been holidays spent in the emergency room. Thank God no birthdays, knock on wood, but I've known people who have spent their birthdays, and just, it's not fun. It's not fun. So that's why it's so important to take care of yourself, and that's why I try to tell you guys holistically an approach of what has helped me. You know, I brought you the sea moss. I brought you guys just drinking water in general, the ginger, the turmeric. I brought you guys spirulina. I brought you guys B12, things that I take. That's on my Amazon storefront, link down below. That has helped me. That has kept me out the hospital on top of God's grace. You know, I do believe in prayer. A lot of times we would go to the hospital and we would pray that the emergency room wasn't a long wait, and lo and behold, it wasn't a long wait. A lot of times I would pray, and my mother would pray, and my family would pray, Lord, let there be a doctor and a nurse with compassion. And a lot of times that is what we were met with. As much as I can talk good, I can talk bad, right? Because where there's good, there's bad. I've had great experiences in the hospital, and I've had horrible ones. And I make sure every day I pray for those who have sickle cell, those who don't, those who are just in the hospital for minor things, that they're met with love and care. That is a prayer. The same thing I pray over and over. God, if there's anyone who has sickle cell who's in the hospital, let them be met with a doctor and a nurse who has compassion, who's understanding to their needs. So I hope I've answered everything. I hope you guys have giggled a little bit with me, and you've like, yeah, I've went through that. Oh my gosh, cool. I hope that whoever your caretaker is, whether a mom, your husband, your kids, whoever, that you give them a nice big hug, that you tell them that you love them and that you're thankful for them, and that hopefully you're a little bit more understanding to what they go through, that they're just as tired as you, that they're just as confused and angry as you, because they want to see you at the hospital too. They might be even more frustrated because they've told you, like my mom used to, drink your water, drink your water, drink your water. You don't love yourself, do better. Because I didn't drink my water and I was drinking more soda, that I landed myself in the hospital myself. And because of that, now everyone has to kind of pay for what that I did, right? And I've learned to kind of stay on top of myself, because I don't want anyone to have to be in the hospital because of me being hard ahead. That's what we say in the islands: when you don't listen, you're hard-headed. So take care of yourself as much as you can. A lot of times you could be drinking water, eating all the good stuff, right? Your fruits and veggies, and sickle cell just comes to knocking. Because sickle cell go on sickle cell no matter what. Sickle cell be like. I'm here. It is what it is. You've been doing good, but feel like coming. The wind blew the wrong way. You're stressing. You went in cold water, huh? That trip to Kazamala, you went down the waterfall. So it'll be little things like that. Sickle cell be like, yeah, yeah. You ate the broccoli, but you know, didn't get all that folate. So, and for the ones who don't have caretakers, I want you to know that I see you guys. I'm so empathetic to it. I'm here if you guys need me for anything, and I truly mean that. For the ones who have to put up a fight or feel like they have to when they go to the hospital, I see you guys. You're not alone. I'm here. If you're in the ER watching this now, you're fine. You're good. The hospital, you're going to be strong and you're going to get out. Okay? Know that you're there for a reason. Don't ever feel like you're a burden. Don't ever feel like they're judging me. And if they are, I've learned to have an "and if they are" attitude. Judge your mama at this point, because what can I do about it? I have sickle cell. I was born with it. Give me this meds and get out my face. You know what I mean? In my head, I said I'll never say it to them. Unless that one time I told you guys about that in my episode 1. But I didn't want this video to be too long, but I wanted to go in depth and talk about it. I wanted to talk about it from all aspects, right? I wanted to give you guys a rundown, a run up, a run left. We went everywhere with this story, but at the end it came together talking about the ER, what it's like for us, what it's like for the caretakers, what it's like for those who have help, what it's like for those who don't have help. And then we're going to talk about life out of the hospital, because a lot don't realize that after the hospital, when you've been in the hospital for 5 days, 7 days, what that's like to still have to recover, right? So a lot of us, and I'll leave you with this, right? And then we'll pick up on episode 4, life out of the hospital. Sickle Cell Be Like, we out the hospital now. And a lot of us, we had to call off of work, and you're short on money. But then you have your pride and you don't want to ask anyone for any money, or you can't ask anyone for money. How do you deal with that? Or your insurance has let you down while you're in the hospital and you can't get the meds you need, or you had to pay for it out of pocket and you were not expecting that extra cost, right? That last 100 you had, $50 came out of that for meds. What are you going to do now? Or you came out the hospital, you went in there at a 10. They do a pain scale, right? 1 to 10. 10 is the worst. You went in there with a 10. And now you're out, but you're a 6, right? And you're just like, I just want to get out of the hospital. This was like one of the worst visits ever. I took my little 6 and I'm out the gate. And you still have to heal at home. How do you do that? How do you do that when you're a parent? How do you do that when you're just faced with schoolwork? A lot of us are in college. How do you do that when you have a demanding job or a job itself? How do you muster up that strength to be okay even when you're not okay? So we're going to talk about that on episode 4, you guys. Life outside of your hospital visit, getting back into your routine. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and yeah, share this to someone you know who has been in the ER, the hospital, someone you know with or without sickle cell. I love you guys so much. Stay strong. I'm always praying for you guys. I hope y'all pray for me and my strength. Glory, I'm receiving it. And I'll see you guys on episode 4 later.